If you don't know what's happening with the clothes that are being made and who's making them, then how can you ever change it for the better? Hello pretty people, I'm Izzy from the Quirky Environmentalist and welcome to Fashion Revolution Week. If you haven't seen my little intro video, then Fashion Revolution Week this week from the 20th to the 26th of April is run by Fashion Revolution Week and calls for more transparency and change within the fashion industry so that it treats both people and the planet better. Here on the Quirky Environmentalist we've created a whole campaign for the week. Each day has a theme, and from me you'll be getting a different blog post, YouTube video and social media post for every day. There will also be posts from other bloggers on their social media and their blogs, and there's ways for you to get involved each day as well. Today is Monday and it's a good way to introduce Fashion Revolution Week, so we're going to be talking about the history of Fashion Revolution Week, how it was started and why we need a fashion revolution. Fashion Revolution Week was started after the Rana Plaza incident of the 23rd of April 2013. This tragic factory collapse killed over 1,100 people and injured 2,250 more who were working in the factory. This factory made garments for more than 29 brands, including H&M, Primark and Walmart. What was even more tragic about this event wasn't just the fact that it happened, but that it was completely preventable. The people working in the factory knew that it was unsafe, but still had to go to work every day anyway. The incident sparked riots across Dhaka and other parts of Bangladesh, with garment workers calling for better condition, better pay and compensation for the families of those involved. Despite worldwide criticism and calls for companies and brands to audit their supply chains and end modern-day slavery, 7 years on, factory incidents like this are still a regular occurrence. From fires to collapses, the people that make your clothes are still incredibly unsafe. Not only this, but they're underpaid, overworked, exploited, and many work in modern-day slavery just to keep the fashion machine going. The only way that fashion, especially fast fashion, can be so cheap whilst making the owners of these companies and the CEOs billionaires is because someone, somewhere, is getting underpaid and exploited. The women that make high street brands, empowerment, feminist t-shirts, are the opposite of empowered. And during a global pandemic, brands like ASOS are putting workers here in the UK at risk from COVID-19 just to keep selling clothes. A response from their employees' call to them that their working conditions were unsafe was to put on another flash sale. And countless brands are refusing to pay for contracts that they took out before COVID-19 started. The estimated loss to Bangladesh alone in contracts is $1.5 billion. There's nothing to make sure that these companies pay for clothes that they have ordered and that have been made. This puts garment workers already at risk during the pandemic in even more risk because they no longer have a job. The CEOs of these companies, yes, the billionaires again, could afford to pay both their staff and for their supply chain costs without seeing a dent in their wealth, and yet they choose to put people at risk time and time again for the sake of making more wealth. And it's not just people that fashion's bad for either. Fashion has a detrimental effect on the environment, from the way the raw materials are grown to the way it's disposed. 10% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions come from the fashion industry. Toxic chemicals are used in everything from growing raw materials to dyeing clothing. And of the 40% of clothing that we return to stores after we've bought it, much of that just ends up in landfill. In the UK, in 2016 alone, we sent 200,000 tonnes of textile waste into landfill. Adding on the manufacturing process to that, we add another 800,000 tonnes of waste. Fast fashion is the worst culprit of all for the environment, and it cannot run sustainably. In 2000, fashion brands put out an average of 2 collections a year, raising to 5 in 2011. And now, in 2020, there are many big brands that put out a new collection every single week. In 1 week, Boohoo put out 770 different items of clothing on its website, and that wasn't even a particularly fast week. This level of consumption is not and cannot ever be sustainable, and something needs to change. So, what can you do about it? Well, that's what the rest of this week hopes to help you with. We're calling on brands to be more transparent about their supply chains so that they can make changes within their supply chains. If you don't know what's happening with the clothes that are being made and who's making them, then how can you ever change it for the better? Do you want to get involved today on social media? We'll use the hashtag Fashion Revolution to talk about why we need a fashion revolution. Could be something that you've learned from this video, could be something that you learned from going on Fashion Revolution Week's website, it could be something you've learnt before. Just go on, talk about why the fashion industry needs to change and why we need to ask brands to do better. Use the hashtag Fashion Revolution and also tag me at Monkey Cloud so that I can see what you're doing and I can share, and yeah, I can maybe learn some more too. Other than that, you can take this week continuing on to learn, to create, to explore and to demand change in the fashion industry. Follow the hashtags on Instagram, follow me here and on the blog. There will be so much for you to get involved with, to learn more about the fashion industry and learn how you can also help to change it by holding brands accountable. And that is it for today. There will be links to today's blog post and any other bloggers' blog posts in the description below to read even more. There's so much you can get on with now. If it is not Monday, then the next day or the next day after that's videos will be out, so you can go and watch those. There will be a playlist somewhere if it is not Monday when you're watching it. You should subscribe for more stuff like this and go and follow me on social media for even more. Thank you for watching and I will see you tomorrow.